Welcome to Inside Out with Sahas and Ali, episode 10. I can't really believe that we have reached to episode 10 and how consistently we have been working towards it. And especially thank you for all the support that we have been getting so much from everywhere, like from all over the world. In fact, I would say India, Pakistan, Canada, US, UK, because
UK, yeah, I had some people from the UK calling us out. It's really
Ab-
interesting.
absolutely. So I'm really honored that like with so many that we have been able to resonate with so many people all around the globe, and it just makes us believe that whatever we are doing, we need to keep on doing even more and going stronger in this. For those who are watching it for the first time, what we do is we talk about mindset, mental health challenges, and belief system, and push you to ask more whys to help you find the genius inside of you. Yes, I said genius because you are one. And today we have a very special guest, Lokesh Gaglani. He's from India, Chennai se hai, and which is why we are going to keep this conversation a little bit in English. So sorry, our English friends, if you don't understand it, which is why we are going to put we'll put the subtitles if you want to watch it on YouTube. But I'm really looking forward for this one. Lokesh, thank you so much for making it happen for our 10th episode, and welcome to Inside Out.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for inviting me. I'm actually quite honored to be here. It's a privilege to be here. And what you guys are doing is just amazing. This is probably the core, and it's going to help so many other humans get better and solve issues in their own lives. I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. So kudos to you. And thanks for having me over here.
No, thank you. Thanks to you, man. And हमारी उस दिन बात हुई थी लोकेश, like Ali and all the other people who are like meeting Lokesh for the first time. This is my second conversation with Lokesh. So Lokesh is also a part of the council, the mastermind which I am part of, and Mark Smith got me introduced to him. And man, you've got a story to tell. And I mean, we have usi then I think हमने कितनी discussion की थी, and the way that you spoke about some incidents in your life. I think there's so much that people can relate with it, and people uh, you know uh, उनकी उनकी आवाज में तुम बात कर सकते हो. So we are going to talk about a little bit of that stuff also today. And just before we start, a little bit about yourself. कब आए कनाडा, कहाँ से आए हो, what do you do, and how your journey has been so far?
Sure, sure. So Kabai, Canada. I've been here for a little more than 4 years, almost five now. So I've been here for 5 years almost. Yeah, I had a normal full time job in India and got the PR, moved over here, and I had like a 3 5 month old baby at that time, and we moved over here. We decided to move from India to Canada for better opportunities. But I think since my daughter was born, a lot of things in my life have changed. So she is an integral part of. Um, yeah, you were just stuck for a second. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, so she was an integral part. I mean, after she was born, it was almost like she is. I want her to. I know that she's going to copy me, right? In a lot of ways, that's what kids do. I mean, they don't really listen to stuff that we tell them to do, right? But they usually copy us. And so I wanted to be very aware of what I am doing and what she is going to do, because she's going to learn from what I'm doing and then copy that. So yeah, I think 5 years back is when I would say this new journey for me had started. Where I was a little more conscious of everything that I was doing. Yeah, so that's how my journey started, how I came to Canada. And I am part of council, like you had mentioned. That's a real estate group where uh, very lucky to be part of Ben's group and the culture that those guys are creating over there. Everybody is very helpful, just helping each other. So that's my story, and I can get deep into a lot of things, why I started in real estate or how that has impacted in my life, and other stories that you spoke about. So what? Let's go ahead and tell me what you want to hear.
Um, let's start with the fact. What made you really cognizant about the fact that you have to be really particular about whatever you do in front of your kids, and they're going to copy you? So, what was the thought behind that?
Uh, the thought was, I think it was easiest for me to be an example for my daughter. So I wanted to lead as an example, right? I am kind of forced in a leadership role, I would say. And I love her so much that I want the best things for her. And I know that uh, there are things that one can do, right, in our own lives, like the power of choice that we have. Before that, it was more like a pattern that, something happens and this is the way you just react out of an emotion, react to things out of emotions. But then when I got a little more conscious, and because my daughter was there, I started understanding that I'm reacting to something just based on emotions, and that's not really me. Uh, and that's not what I want to project to my daughter also. So it came off very strongly in my life. Her presence came off very strongly, and then I started understanding consciously, observing how I was or what I was doing in these terms, right? Just reacting or saying things that I didn't really want to say or didn't really mean, but came out of my mouth in, let's say, anger or something else. Um, and then I started going in a little more deeper, like what is this? What is this anger, or what is this emotion, and why is this happening? Why am I doing something like this when I really don't want to do it? Um, I think that started a journey of going in a little deeper and just understanding myself a little bit better.
Okay.
Well,
Uh, Ali, you have any question right now?
yes. So, speaking about your daughter, give us a little more background about that. How old is she, and how have things been? And um, ever since moving to Canada, because I know a lot of parents that move to Canada with kids, it's a big change, not for just them, but also for the child as well.
Yeah, so she's 5 years old. So she hardly knew anything when we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She hardly remembers anything from India. But it was uh, a conscious decision for us to move to Canada. We wanted a better. I mean, I personally just like to be closer to nature,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and we've seen like floods and stuff in India where our we were living on the ground floor, and our in Chennai there was a huge flood, and the whole house was in the water basically. So, and a lot of that has to do with like cutting trees and the water not being able to get into the soil and it's just flowing freely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be very close to nature, and that was one of the core reasons why I wanted to move to Canada. And I think after moving over here, I've realized the kind of importance that people over here give to life in general. I mean, I was surprised when I was driving around and I saw, turtle crossing board. There was a board like for turtles to cross and or tortoise to cross, and I was surprised that every being over here is important, and it's amazing to see how much importance they give to every life over here. So, it just stuck with me, and I'm grateful for Canada and for being over here also.
Wow, you know what? That's really interesting you say that, because most of the stories I hear about people when they say why they moved here, it's usually about the money or the jobs or uh, less stress from the environment. Yours was very unique. Yours is more passionate about nature, and it kind of shows what kind of person you are, obviously. You're more of the gentler soul. You care more about nature, obviously, and that's something I don't come across much often when I speak to people. And it's a fresher breath air, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I have been close to nature. I feel very strongly with nature. So definitely, that's one part of. And I wish I could like do things that would help even in India, right? I mean, um, so I heard about this Sadhguru going around raising funds to basically help rivers, improve the
Mm.
water over there. And
Right.
that's something that I would definitely love to do. I'm passionate about just getting. I mean, in a way, look, we are human beings. I've sometimes wondered, and I felt that what are we really? We are this earth, the sun, the air, the water, right? All of the elements that we talk about, and that is what we are. I mean, that's our physical body that's made up of just these things. That's all. So it's so much a part of us, but many of us are not aware of the destruction that we are ourselves are doing towards these life forces that are giving us life. Uh, yeah, so I mean that is definitely a passion of mine.
That's
Th-
amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Lokesh, can you tell us something about your childhood? How was it? Like, how did you grow? Where did you grow? And what kind of an emotion were you going through at the time of your growth? How were your parents? Like, everything around that time?
Uh, I think my childhood, yeah, I mean, I was in Chennai throughout. Every year we used to travel to like the northern part of India. My cousins were over there, so it was every summer, every vacation, we would wait for that, go around in the trains, and those memories are still with me. Um, in terms of how it was, I think it was very carefree. But I was always very close to my mother. I mean, if you compare me and my brother, I have always been. So that's probably one of the things that has impacted my life. Uh, I was very close to my mother, and I used to be so. Uh, I would want her to be with me, like as a kid, like as a very small kid. I would always want her to be with me, and sometimes I was even jealous of my father because when she would talk to my dad, I was a little possessive. No, 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 just
Yeah.
talk to me. So I was like, I wanted her, and I. She still tells me, she reminds me sometimes that when I would sleep in the afternoons taking a nap, and I would want her to be with me, but she had work to do, right? So she would just put that usko dupatta bolte hain, right? She would
Ah,
just keep the dupatta in my hand so that I would have some kind of support, and she would go and do her work, and I would think that okay, she is there with me. So and so yeah, that was there. But after I started growing up, it kind of reduced on my side, and then there was a little bit of clinging, right? That clinging stuck with me, and that clinging was there even for, let's say, my first girlfriend, and then so sometimes I used to now after I grew up even uh, there was a lot of when you have so much clinging or attachment towards something, it also causes a little bit of hurt, right? I mean, I noticed that I notice came later, but then this clinging was there, and I saw that I was so sad sometimes that this person is not talking to me. This person is not. This person doesn't love me. This person is you know something is wrong here. So these were stories that I was telling myself. Obviously, these were not true. This was just my perception, which I didn't understand at that time. But all of these things were happening, and then I started questioning. I was desperate. I was, and I started questioning, why is this happening with me? Why is this happening with me? So I got some memories uh, about this, about how it started, and this episode that I told you, which I had completely forgotten about for so many years. And it had happened at that time, and I wanted my mom to love me, and she was playing around. So it has been there for a very long time. But then I realized that it's not like it, I realized that these are just stories that I'm telling myself, right? And this is an expectation that I have for whatever reason, maybe from even from a lot of people like don't believe, but even from, let's say, previous births, because that's what we talk about in my religion. So it was something that's strongly with me for a very long time, from the time that I was a kid. So I still remember that, right? But that was not serving me. And so I started understanding my relationship with expectations. And then I understood that I was only burdening myself with expectations. It was like a huge burden that I was carrying on my shoulders, my head. And it was not letting me be free. It was not letting the other person be free, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I mean, once I came into terms with that, things started changing. I was like, this is an expectation, and it's in life. I don't. My mother has always said one thing to me: keep your hand like this and not like this, which means that, keep your hand, make your hand to give thing to somebody, give somebody some gift, but don't, like, mangte mat raho. So that was one thing. And then I was like, okay, I want to give a gift. This is not really giving any gift. This is like asking or having that expectation.
Yeah.
And so I was like wondering how to turn that around. And once I stopped having that, I felt that freedom within me and in my wife's life, in everybody else's life. She is free, she is happy, she's not burdened because of my expectation, and I'm not burdened. I'm very happy and very free after I realized that. So
Yeah, it's very difficult, like uh, whatever journey that you went through your childhood, the way that you have been grown up, the way, the kind of expectations you have had with your mom, and later on you don't realize it, but आप evolve वैसे हो जाते हो that you start taking that thing for granted, that this is something that I deserve, this is something that has to be there no matter what. So that shifts from one person to another, that shifts from another person to a different. You're not helping anyone with that, right? And you realize that not many people do. I remember that fact that when I was in college, I had my first relationship. And when I had my first relationship, and that was one of the most fucking craziest relationship that I've been into, because that changed me. That really changed me. I went in under depression and all that stuff happened. But उससे पहले भी क्या था कि like expectations ऐसी है, like if you're meeting, because college में था, तो फिर college में होता है कि that it's new love, everything. Why is she not talking to me, why is she not calling me, why is she not texting me, little things. But I started इतनी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को क्वेश्चन करने की वजह से, एंड वाई करने की वजह से, I started hurting myself. And I didn't realize by the time I started getting into depression, and it was not hurtful to any other person at all, the same way. You don't realize it, but आपको नहीं पता चलता कि आप कितनी गहराई में चले जाते हो if you keep on doing that, if you don't change anything around you in the environment, या अपने within झांक के देखो, something like that. I went under depression, ये वो हुआ. I mean, there were expectations ऐसी होती थी, like, and to be honest, like, she was also pretty mean to me in a way that very mean to me. I would say, क्योंकि I remember दो तीन ऐसे incidents है जैसे भूलते नहीं. I know the kid in me, like when I used to go back to college, I'm meeting her, I'm about to meet her after 2 months or so, and she's coming in front of me, and I'm thinking in my mind, will she even shake my hand, will she give me a hug, or she'll just pass away? And the third thing happens. no shake hand, no giving me hug. And I mean, I was like why? So वो expectation natural थी मेरे लिए भी और कुछ मेरे खुद की भी बनाई हुई थी. But then I realized why my happiness is so much dependent on somebody else's expression and emotion and action. And that is not, उसको तो कोई फर्क पड़ेगा ही नहीं, मैं अपने आप को रुइन क्यों कर रहा हूँ. And
Mhm.
that was the time when self internalize किया, realize किया, meditation किया, काफी चीजें की, then started putting myself into other work, and then I realized, oh, this life is mine and I fucking take charge of it. I
Yeah.
don't give it to somebody else, because the moment you give it, you lose control. और आप में expectation ज़्यादा आ जाती है. You become more material. So yeah, that just reminded
Yeah.
me when you said that experience.
That is so true. I mean, that is so true. But it all these experiences also are the reason that we are here and we are what we are,
Absolutely.
right? And that
Hmm.
is that is a that is a way to grow. I think that if that experience had not happened, you wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have been here.
Not at all. I
Yeah.
So
totally believe that. I totally believe that because मुझे पता है when that happened, I became a completely different person. I totally overhaul हो गया मेरे life का.
Hmm.
That thing changed me. I wasn't that uh, perturbed. Like I was very unperturbed, very carefree, careless kind of a guy. But that just changed me overall. So I thank her, in fact, uh, whatever that she did, knowingly or unknowingly or whatever. But that just changed a part of me, which is like completely a different person altogether.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think the bigger part is that in any situation, if you're walking away with a lesson, it's a win-win. You already won something. You didn't get the girl you wanted, but you got a lesson. I think that's an approach you take in anything in life. Win, you lose, but you learn something. Sahas, you also मुझे याद है तुम बहुत कुछ टाइम पहले बता रहे थे, and this resonated with me because Lokesh said the same thing. Is that one way you fought your mental health of that being time was you started giving value. So in this case, you started, let's say, volunteering, right, for young orphanage for girls mostly, and that really helped you take things in your perspective and change your overall opinion and everything. It's really interesting, how that works. Really
Absolutely.
interesting.
Like Lokesh also said, very important factor ki aap this or that. Like,
Hmm.
what do you want to choose? So for me also, like, if I really want to be happy, if I really want to, be a better person or better version of me, instead of expecting, I should start giving. So that is when I started working for Missionaries of Charity India, my Mother Teresa organization. Not working, to be honest, like it was more like, it gave me peace that I was doing something more than my just thinking about myself, like what kind of a misery and shitty situation that I am in. And thinking about like Mother Teresa house, mein, like there were kids who were mostly girl child, girl children, like given away by their parents or not having their parents, or female infanticides, और ये सब चीजें काफी predominant थी in long time back. But कुछ कुछ tribal areas में, villages में, still it happens the same way, right? So that just made me realize that I'm missing an important piece, that my life is not just for myself, it's actually to help somebody else in making their lives better. And unless I'm not doing that, I don't deserve to be happy. So I need to be giving first, and then that will bring me happiness more.
Hmm. And Lokesh, you said the same thing as well. You started giving value, and that really helped you change your perspective in life, right? So, what
so
kind of things were you doing?
so for me, it is slightly different. I mean, yes, that value thought is always there, and I still try to inculcate that in everyday life. But it was also, when you're miserable, and I have gone through stages of being miserable, and I was really miserable at times. Um, and at that time, you don't really have the power to even think properly. Uh, so one thing is, for me, it was important to find the peace in myself first.
Hmm.
Once I started finding peace and happiness, I was able to give that. I was able to be, contribute on other people's side. But because if I am miserable, that is what I'm going to give to another person. Um, so, right. one of the what helped me was meditation has helped me uh, enormously. Uh, and I just wanted to read out this quote by Oliver Jenkins, just about expectations. So there are two quotes actually, and I hope I can read it out properly here. He says in this meditation, the key is not to care. The irony or paradox is that if you do that, your ability to care increases tenfold. It is not so much that we don't care, it is that we are not so attached to the outcome. So, in not, if you're not attached to the outcome, that is what your expectation is, right? Our expectation sometimes is like, this person should talk to me like this, or this person should do this, something like that. But if you're not attached to the outcome, let the other person live, be free. I think that is freedom in itself. And he says another thing is freedom does not come with a medal. It comes with the quiet knowing, the spring in your step, the lightness in your heart.
Mhm.
So when I started realizing all these things, I knew, I thought I have the power. I have that power of choice, right? I have the power to choose freedom, to choose happiness. And once I was able to do that, then I started contributing. Until that point, it never occurred to me that it did not occur to me, right? But I think Sahas did a great thing by volunteering. For me, it was like I was stuck in myself. I was like, I am struggling. This is like my life is like this, and my life. There was a lot of blame and
Yeah.
complain, I guess, to myself. And then once I started realizing and understanding my own thoughts because of meditation, I started observing these are the stories that I'm putting in my own mind, and I can change and shift the story. Once I started doing that and started focusing on the good stuff, things started changing. And then when things started changing, I found more happiness. I found more control in my own life. And then I was able to also give that to other people, also able to contribute in other people's lives.
Absolutely. And I don't know, like, I remember, like, when I was also going through all that stuff, it's never that easy, right? I mean, because even if I took that volunteering wala phase of my life that came in, it wasn't like, oh, I have a quick recognition. Now what, this is what I need to do. It was like I was deep down under, like, it's all darkness all around me. And we recently I shared a poem with uh, Ali. At that moment
Mhm.
of time, the writer side of me was really, really very alive. So उस time पे, the kind of things that I used to write, I mean, they were really, really dark. They were really like, they were just like shit dark. So I mean, wo you remember कि you are at the end of the well. Now, how do you pick yourself up? There could be other, matlab ki your possibility was through meditation. You did that. uh, I tried that. It didn't work for me because हर एक mind का अलग अलग होता है. I believe that I don't have that kind of a concentration power that I wish I have that, but मेरी वो अभी तक बनी नहीं है कभी meditation के लिए. I started reading book. That was the first time in fact, I started reading book. The first book that I ever read was The Camino. It was
Mm.
by Shirley MacLaine, and that was a spiritual journey through all seven, uh, cardinal links of, I think, something related to just like a pilgrimage, like a spiritual pilgrimage kind of a thing. And the kind of experiences she shared just made me also, understand the spiritual side of the things. So that was in a way a meditation for me. But then again, my meditation also started coming through, going to volunteering and all that stuff, and good support from my friends and all that stuff. But I understand it's really hard to understand how can you come out of that well, and that also like with a big smile, and actually believe in yourself to actually make good around you.
So,
How
so
difficult? Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Sahas. I just wanted to add one thing, like about meditation itself, because a lot of people have asked me, a lot of people ask me, and a lot of people have said the same, like similar thing. It's amazing. Books are amazing, right? I mean, I love books, and I read a lot of books, and the books have helped me tremendously. Uh, and one thing about meditation is that a lot of people have said the same thing that you mentioned here. You know, that they're not able to
Concentrate.
stop, or yeah, stop the thoughts, let's say,
Hmm.
right? But the idea is not to stop the thoughts. The I think from what I've learned in meditation is the idea is to observe the thoughts that come in, right?
Hmm.
So your anchor, yeah, they say anchor is your breath, because it helps you come back to your breath. But the thoughts are going to keep running. The thoughts are
Right.
always running, right? But there will be a second or 2 seconds of gap somewhere where you come back to your breath. You realize, oh, I'm stuck in this thinking, and then you come back to your breath, right? I mean, if you're doing it for 15 minutes, let's say, but somewhere in those 15 minutes, you may have those 2 seconds or 3 seconds. And the more you practice, those seconds increase. There might be 30 seconds or 15 seconds when you're actually focused on your breath, but then you go back to your thoughts.
Hmm.
And that just keeps increasing. But the power here is not about not having thoughts. The power is actually being able to observe those thoughts. When you keep practicing, you will realize or understand, even in real life, or at least I did for me, in real life, I was, when I was not meditating, when I was talking to people, what we talk is basically what we are already thinking about. It's first it comes to our mind, and then we are able to bring it to our lips. So these thoughts, when you start observing them, then you are able to do that even in real scenarios, right? And and for me it has helped, because I was not, then I stopped reacting the way I was reacting before. I started using better words, and I think words make a lot of
Oh
difference
yes.
in relationships.
Oh yes.
So yes, I mean, what you have done is amazing, and thanks for sharing that. um, but I think this will also help people. I mean, I just want to remove that, uh, these some notions, right?
Around
It is not
meditation.
about, yeah, it's not about perfection, but if you start observing it, it definitely helps
Hmm.
a lot.
Yeah. So for what I've heard and read is that you become more mindful of everything. So you get a thought, and you're immediately, once you've practiced enough meditation, you realize, oh, that's a negative aspect. You go back to your normal mindset or your baseline, right? Right now in your normal routine, you get all sorts of thoughts. Without practice, you don't realize what's coming and going out, what's a harmful thought, what's blown out of proportion, and what's actually beneficial for you. That's what I've noticed with meditation, is that the more mindful you get, the more easier it is to pick out the helpful ones from the wrong ones.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely helps a lot. And I think for me, it has gone beyond that. Every person has their own experience with meditation. I'm very closely connected with meditation because of the magic that it has created in my life. I mean, I'm able to, not always, right? It doesn't happen always, but then I'm able to connect more with my heart. So there are meditations where you are actually connecting with your heart. You're trying to feel your heart, and then the more you connect with your heart, I think you're able to also connect with other people's hearts,
Hmm.
which I think is also essential in any relationship.
Right.
Um, so yes, your thoughts, I think it starts with your thoughts, but then it also helps you understand your own body as well in a lot of ways, your own heart. Or the body also gives you signs, right? Uh, when you're eating something, a lot of people eat something that the body doesn't really like, but it's tasty, and they like the taste of it, but the body may not like it. So the
Hmm.
more connected you are with your body, with your heart, I think you will find clues. Like
Hmm.
for me, an example is that if I'm stressed, I can feel the some kind of a pain in the back of my neck a little bit. So I know that something is, stressing me, and I understand, and I'm able to address it at that time, or at least able to breathe, so that I give some, release the pressure, I guess. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, meditation has helped me in just more than analyzing my thoughts. It has actually helped me connect with God, with my heart, with my body. It has helped me
Hmm.
tremendously in many ways.
Now,
Uh,
sorry,
sorry,
Sahas, go on.
sorry, Ali. You uh, like very important factor that you mentioned, that you have been able to connect with your heart, your body, and you people around you as well, right? With the help of meditation. Tell us about that incident that you told me about, the ATM story.
Yeah. Uh, so I was at a meetup, at a realistic meetup, which actually got pretty delayed, and I think it closed after 11 or something when I got out of the place, and I wanted to withdraw some cash. So I, I parked my car and I walked into this ATM. While going inside, I saw a few people standing there around the ATM, but I just went inside, I withdrew my cash, and I turned around and I saw that the guy was standing at the door, blocking the whole pathway. Um, and he had his hand under his hoodie, almost like pointing a gun at me. So, and he was like, give me your cash. I was frozen for a second there. It's never happened to me. I've only seen this in movies, right? So for the first few seconds, I was trying to see how can I get out of the situation, right? I mean, what do you call that? Fight or flight. I was in that mode. How do I, like, can I overpower this guy? Can I hit him or get out of here? And where is the door? How do I get to the door? That was my first thing. Uh, but then I remembered a few things from this book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and he talks about tactical empathy. It's actually a book on negotiation, but he's done a lot of hostage negotiations. So I started talking to the guy. Basically, Chris Voss talks about buying time and talking. So I started talking to this guy, and I tried to understand what is his, reason. What is. So I asked him questions like, okay, what do you need the money for? So he started saying, he was a little aggressive. He was like, it's none of your business. Just give me the money and get out of here. Otherwise, so he was threatening me, and he wanted to make it look like he had a gun under his hoodie. And I said, look, I'm trying to help you, and I want to help you. So just tell me what do you need the cash for? Um, and he said, I need to go to Mississauga. This was in downtown Toronto. I need to go to Mississauga. So I said, okay, I have a car. I have my car parked outside. I can take you to Mississauga. What do you need to go to Mississauga for? So I just kept talking to him, and he became a little aggressive. I got, I got a little aggressive too, in the sense that he jumped almost at me, and I stood my ground, right, and didn't back out. But we had this 15-minute conversation, I think, over there, and I told him, look, man, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. I know you don't have a gun there, which I was guessing because it was not as big or pointy. I said, I am only trying to help you here. So somehow I was able to get through to him. I said, I know that you need help and I am willing to help you. I can get out of here because I know that you don't have a gun, but I only want to help you and let me help you. So I don't know what got through to him, but after that, he broke down. He started crying and he hugged me, and he said, I know you're a good guy, man. I know you want to help. Uh, and and then he started telling me about a story that, he was basically, he just wanted a little bit of money, because he owed somebody, a drug dealer, some money. So he was stuck over there. He had his kids in Mississauga who he had not seen for so many years. Uh, it was a desperate situation for, I mean, I started thinking about me when I was stuck over there for the first few seconds, but when I started talking to him, it made me feel that this guy needs more help. Like this guy is an act. This is the guy who needs more help than I do over here, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, that's what happened over there, and we got out of the ATM after that together, and I was just, I mean, I felt bad. I really felt bad for this guy.
Wow.
But bro, this is like so powerful on so many levels. Uh, we're all humans, right? And that understanding of putting yourself aside and in somebody's situation and talking in their language, if we all start doing that, the world would be a different place altogether. But it's so hard for somebody to just get out of their own zone and not think about themselves for the whole run. And that makes the whole difference out there. And one very important thing that you said that was for the first few moments, you were thinking about yourself. How can I quickly make an action phase so that I can get out of the situation? But the heart, the gratitude, the gratefulness comes in when you think that no, this guy needs more than I need to get out of the situation right now. What can I do today so that I can put a little bit of more humanity in somebody else's life today? Bro, so proud of you that you, and thank you so much for sharing what you shared today. It's really, really meaningful. And I think this will give so many people courage, not just in terms of, spiritual self or for somebody else, just for themselves, that to realize that you're not just here to do everything for yourself. You have to make a fucking effort to know somebody else and help them in their situation. Thank you so much for sharing this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was very lucky, honestly, uh, over there, and to get this experience also. But it's not it's not always right. I mean, everybody, every one of us, I think, wants to be heard. Every one of us has a story to tell, and in a lot of conversations, we are all like saying things about ourselves, and everybody is doing that. Like, I'm talking to a friend of mine, I'm talking about me, and the other person, my friend, is also talking about him. Uh, so I am trying to I'm trying to listen to the other person, which is actually which is actually taking a lot of effort from my side, and I still have to work on that. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm grateful for that time when it happened in that ATM. I was able to be present and I was able to be there, and also in a way my life depended on it. So
Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. Like, but not everybody has to go through that kind of situation to actually, understand another human being. You were stuck in that kind of a situation and it worked well. So, guys, don't. It's not the moral of the story is not that whenever you have a gun pointed towards you, you have to you don't have to try to know every time in that kind of
yeah. Yeah, and
experience.
I think what you said made a lot of sense. I mean, for just for a brief period of time, if you forget about your own needs and your own expectations or your own things, and just be there for the other person, I think that itself will make a huge difference.
Right. It's simply one thing that really matters the most in this world is that how can we add more humanity into the things that we do? That's it. Just add that, and I think you'll see the ripple effect of that. If one person tries to change one person, the whole world changes. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah, because we're all connected. It's like honestly, we're the best analogy I can give right now is that we're a spider web. You move one part, the entire web moves, right? Like ripple effect. Everyone's connected in in one way or not, like an ecosystem. So what you did right there affected him. And let's say if him going forth now might be change, he might change his mind or might basically see things from a different perspective, and now what he will do going forward will impact the people he knows, so forth and so forth. So yeah, that's a really interesting story, and like I want to touch base on that a bit more, uh, and also going back to the fact you're talking about meditation and whatnot. How have things changed for you now after everything that's gone through you've gone through? as a person, how are you seeing things in your perspective and in your general behavior in life and business?
A lot of things have changed. I think I am enjoying this journey of growth uh, in me, and I see that I am not the person I was 5 years back or last year even. Um, so I'm able to see that I'm really enjoying this growth, and there's so many new focus, or when you're putting your intention, I guess there's so many things that I'm learning about myself almost every day, and I'm happier, way happier. I mean, I won't say that this is like everyday thing, right? But there are periods. There were periods when I was, like I said, miserable for a very long time. It almost became my personality. Uh, Now it's very different. Now most of the time I'm able to present, let's say, the best version of myself, and also
Yeah.
uh, enjoy everything first, enjoy nature, enjoy every moment, and cherish, or get that, वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, really लाइफ का एक रस जो होता है
Hmm.
उसको
Mm-hmm.
enjoy करके I'm able to pass that on to other people, and I get a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment from doing that. Definitely doesn't come every day. I have my own problems and my own issues and my own things that I have to deal with, and there are days when everything is overwhelming.
Yeah.
uh, but but I would say the period of being miserable has gone down drastically. And even if it does happen, I'm able to understand that these are thoughts in my mind. These are thoughts that are running, and I can change that. It doesn't take too long to change that. It had never happened from like 15 or 20 years I was miserable. And then now there are days when I might be miserable or I might have negative thoughts, but a lot of it I'm able to change now. So I'm grateful for, and like I said, I mean, I've this journey has helped me become closer to God. Let's say, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a God that I believe in, and um amazing things have happened in my life because of, not because of me. Like, I didn't choose to be in that ATM in that scenario. But amazing things have happened to me, and I
It
feel that
happens.
I am not the reason for that, and that's the power of God. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful every day. I think that has helped me also tremendously.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And it's not like everybody becomes an expert like after, you go through, like you have a certain regime or discipline or anything of that sort. Like I say, we might be on a different level of learning experiences, but nobody is an expert, because if I were, then I were a god. So God is expert somewhere, wherever he or she is.
Mm-hmm.
But we are on different levels of learning, man. So this is what it is. Like, it's just like, if you just think of, helping the other person in bringing one level up in whatever level they are on, is what we need to be doing more. And you're a great example of that, man, because you try to help one person, and I'm sure that there must be so many other amazing stories also in your life that you must have gone through. And how do you think, what would you give more credit to? Is it because of meditation that you have understood that this is the personality, which is your internal personality? Or how did you discover this part of you?
So I think this is still a journey for me, and there are still so many puzzles that I'm still trying to solve in me also. Uh, so I wouldn't say there is one thing that has helped me, but the whole everything, or at least what I'm doing now consciously, has helped me a lot. Meditation definitely is one of the big parts. Books have helped me a lot. There are a lot of books that I have been reading, have been listening to. Power of Vulnerability is a great book. Uh, so there are so many other spiritual books like Thich Nhat Hanh's books are there. So definitely meditation, books, the whole journey itself, all the experiences that I've had, even all the negative experiences that I've had, they have they are also responsible for the pain that I was in. Because of the pain, I was trying to find the answers. Only when you seek do you get, right?
Hmm.
So I think that has also helped me a lot.
Yeah, for all the viewers at the age of 17 to 22, and I think we have somewhere in between 25 to 34. That's the majority of people who listen to our podcast. What we are trying to say here is that your life will never, it's, if you think about the perfect life, it will never be perfect. You just
Hmm.
have to start doing certain actions right now so that you can make more meaningful relationships and make your life better. And so the same question, going back, because I think we're just running out of time, one last question I want to hit you with is, what would you say to people who are like in their 20s or early age, teenage or adolescence, if they're in a very uncomfortable situation of their lives, how do they get out of it? And how could you help them out in what
Yeah,
you do?
sure. So one one thing I want to tell everybody is that nobody is going to come and help you, right? I was I was when I was in that state, I was like, somebody help me. I would go tell my problems to other people, and I would hope that somebody would give me this magic thing, magic stuff that somebody can tell me to just get out of this situation. But people would listen, and they would have their own, because of their own experience, they have their own judgment. Some people will even stop talking to you, right? But I think when you take responsibility for your own life, everything changes. You have the power over this body, this being that you are. I am Lokesh Gaglani, and I'm never going to have the opportunity to be Lokesh Gaglani again. So,
Fucking bomb.
so
Yeah.
once I took the responsibility and I found out that I can change things,
Yeah.
that's when things started changing. So I would encourage everybody to go deep, understand yourself if you have to, and spend years even to do that. But you
Yeah.
have the power to change your life.
That's fucking amazing, because I totally second that, because I believe, like similarly to what you just said, that you have one fucking story to tell. How that story, the narrative of the story is entirely dependent on you. So if you're just thinking your graph and you are let's say if somebody's on the hospital bed, and I give this analogy quite so often, that why does it go that way? There are highs and there are lows, there are highs and lows. If you think that it's going to be stagnant, that means you're already dead. Right.
Hmm.
The same with you, same as with your life. Like if you think that it's always going to be high, you're mistaken. If you think it's always going to be low, it
Yeah.
could be only if you can try to uplift yourself. It all depends on you. You are the creator of your own story. You are the writer of
Yeah.
your story. How fucking amazing you want to make it, you make it.
Yeah. And one point I do also want to add to that is that no matter how hard you try, that doesn't mean there's going to be a down. There's always going to be a
Oh yeah.
down. What you have to be aware of is that how do you manage that downtime? Like it's how do you react to that? That's more powerful. Not how you prevent it, because that's something that you can't stop. Things happen, but how do you react to it? How do you behave in a way that you can take it in and turn that into a positive?
Yeah. And even I would just correct it a little. Reaction will actually get you to do something, could be sometimes stupid. Always act instead of react.
Right.
Because if you
Right.
act, you're going to absorb the thing, listen to the stuff around you, environment around you, and then take an action.
Hmm.
So, Lokesh, thank you so much for doing this. And we are just about at time, 7 p.m. We just got finished with that. Thank you so much for coming on. I think you provided so much value to all the people who would listen to this in the future. And so glad. One last thing, where can people reach you and how can they get connected with you?
Yeah, so just find me by my name. I mean, I'm on Facebook, on Instagram. You can connect with me if you have any questions. Please feel free to ask me anything that you guys have, anything that you guys need. If there's any help that you need, I am definitely available, and I would love to help. So thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure being here. And what you
Mhm.
guys are doing again is mind blowing, amazing. Um, this aspect that you're raising over here is something that will be useful for so many people. It will change lives. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much for
man.
coming on and saying
And
that.
we'll definitely get you again on the podcast because I think we have so many things for you also to share with the audience, and I think that they can really relate with it. And there are so many
Hmm.
struggles. It's like everyone's struggle, to be honest. Like it's not like just one or two people have it. So we're definitely going to get you again on the podcast. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure is
Take
all.
care, Lokesh.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All
That
right,
was
guys,
good.
it was a great one. And thank you so much for listening to it. Do follow us, do like us, do subscribe to our Inside Out on. In fact, we are also on YouTube channel right now, right? So
Yeah.
it's just, guys, we just want to give you value in whichever medium, whatever platform it is. We just want to be there for you. So feel free to subscribe. Feel free to comment on whatever. Uh, leave your reviews on Anchor, Apple,
Hmm.
Spotify, Breaker, Google, wherever you're listening us on. And yeah, we would really, you know, feel something that if we have been able to provide some value to your life, we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to us.
And make sure to share with your friends because we're going to have some really special guests coming on who are therapists, psychologists, and psychiatrists as well. So that's going to provide you a lot more value because it'll be coming from someone who does this for a living. So, guys, stay tuned and hopefully you love this episode. Take care.